Howdy, howdy, howdy. It is June 1st, and nope, July 1st, and welcome to the first vlog of July. I'm planning on this being the 1st through the 7th, so the first week of July. I am hoping I will start the Parable of the Sower audiobook today, but I did just become a 5-4 Patreon supporter, so I have a whole bunch of premium podcasts to listen to, so we'll see if I actually get around to starting that today. I still have to do some reading of S for today. I need to do my pages. I'm really not close to finishing anything, and if you watch my wrap up, you know the books I'm already working on. So there's that. I'm hoping that I can read A Series of Unfortunate Events this month. That is my big hope, wish, dream, to do that this month. It is my birthday month, and I feel like reading children's books. So there is that. I'm still probably going to be continuing on my creepy, spooky book stuff. Hopefully I'll actually get around to reading Sundial this month. Was originally planned for June, and I just didn't get around to it because I ended up going and veering off onto the space side of things. So there's that. So that's my little intro update for the beginning of this vlog. I will see y'all when I have something to say about a book. Hello, it is July 3rd. I don't have much of an update, but I didn't record anything yesterday, so I thought I should record something now. Really the only thing news update that I have to say is that I DNF'd Catfishing on the Catnet, because I just was not wanting to read it. I was reading it because I wanted to see if maybe I don't like the AI trope. The fact that I DNF'd this didn't really have to do with the AI character, but more so I just didn't care about what was happening in the story. I'll have to find a different AI book to see if maybe I just don't like AIs. But unfortunately, Catfishing on the Catnet won't be the determining factor on that. The other update I have is I am planning on starting a Amazon Prime free book for July, like the first reads. So I'm gonna read All the Lies They Did Not Tell, the true story of satanic panic in an Italian community. So this is a true crime book. I don't know anything about this story, but I listened to a lot of You're Wrong About, and Sarah Marshall has done a lot of research into the satanic panic. They have talked about the satanic panic. Sybil kind of helped feed into the satanic panic. So this intrigued me. So I'm going to read this, but I think I'm going to do a whole separate vlog about that as I work through this book. It's a first read, so there are no reviews. There's nothing out about this book. So I thought I would read it and kind of get it out before July ends to see, to kind of give a review to people if they want to read it. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but there hasn't been a Prime book that has really grabbed my attention. This cat won't stop yelling, but I'm actually holding the camera instead of on the tripod, so I can't pick him up. So I'll be doing that, but I'll be doing a separate vlog with my thoughts and feelings on it. So, but that's the update. I will talk to y'all later. Bye. Hello. It is July 5th, and I really haven't done much updating because I really haven't had much to update. I'm not in a reading slump, but I am just not in the mood to read very much. I'm still reading, but there's nothing that's blowing me away. I'm really not having a good time with S, to be quite honest. It just takes so much brain energy to read the minimum amount of pages that I need to read for my buddy read. So that's taking up all my reading energy. I'm working on that Prime book. That's fine. I'm like 25% in to that, so I'm making my way through that. And I started, this is Where the End Starts or something. I can't remember what the name actually is. I'll put the book here. I started that last night because I was looking for a short read, and that's like 140 pages long. So I started that. It's reading really quick and easy, but I have just been kind of wrapped up in reading S, that I only get a little bit of time to read that today, or I've only had a little bit of time to read that today. I read it like a couple pages in bed. Like it reads really quick, and if I wasn't reading other things that were taking up so much like energy to read, I probably would have finished it yesterday night when I started it. But that's not the case. So I'm just reading it when I can, or when I like just absolutely cannot stand to read another page of the other books. While I'm not having a bad time with the Prime book, it is like a true crime nonfiction read, so like sometimes I'm just like not in the mood or like don't have the energy to read that. So that's where I'm at. I don't know what the rest of this vlog will look like. Hopefully I'll at least finish. This is Where the End Starts or whatever it's called, and I'll have some thoughts about that, but like I'm only 40 pages in or something like that, so like there's not a whole lot to say about it yet. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Greetings. It is July 6th, and I have finished one book, and that book was the one I was talking about in the last clip, whose name I still can't remember. What is it called? The End We Start From by Megan Hunter. Okay, so I read this book in like 3 days. It was like 140 pages, and it's 3 stars. There is really not anything to say about this book. It is so vague. A woman, her husband or partner, her husband and her partner have a child, and it's like in the middle of some sort of climate disaster, and London floods. And that's like the most detail we really get. And she's kind of going from like refugee camps basically through most of the book with her kid. Her and her husband get separated, and yeah, that's like, I mean, like it is told in the briefest, sparsest language possible. It's like 2-3 sentence paragraphs. It's like 3 paragraphs to a section, sometimes not even that. Then there will be like a little like lyrical paragraph in like italics that's like not the story, but like setting the tone. I don't know, it's very vibes based. Like it really just didn't do much for me. I mean, like I didn't hate it. It was easy enough to read. But the fact that I was struggling with the books that, well, I'm struggling with S particularly, and I've been looking for other things to read, and this book was so short, and it took me 3 days to read it, I feel like kind of tells you everything you need to know about the book from my perspective. Like there just wasn't much there for me. There were some lines that really stuck out to me that I enjoyed and like highlighted, but like overall there wasn't much. Like it wasn't even like this is an internal book. Like all of it was vague. I talk about books how I like want a plot and I want world building, and I don't really care as much about like the character building or like stuff like that. I like a plot. I like quick paced stuff. And while it was quick paced, like it wasn't a plot book, but it wasn't also like a character study book really either. So I don't know. I don't know how I talked about this book for 3 minutes. Anyways, so tomorrow's supposed to be the last day of this vlog. I really haven't read much of anything. That's the first book I have finished this month. And I think it's been like a week since I've finished a book. Something like that. So yeah, I'm not doing too hot. I'm not like in a slump. It's not like I'm not reading every day. I'm just like reading very slowly, which to be quite honest is kind of on par for me. My birthday is at the end of the month, and July tends to be my slowest reading month because I'm usually doing other things. The weather isn't necessarily nice, but like I'm doing stuff outside, I'm doing things, you know. Typically I would go do something on 4th of July. I didn't do anything this year, but like in July I'm like usually doing stuff, going on vacation, stuff like that. So I will not be surprised if I only read like a handful of books this month. However, I did go to the library and I got a huge stack of books. So I got A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. I've been seeing people mention this places, and I think it's like a kind of a well-known, well-loved, like horror-ish book. The lives of the Barretts, a normal suburban New England family, are torn apart when 14-year-old Marjorie begins displaying signs of acute schizophrenia. To her parents' despair, the doctors are unable to stop Marjorie's bizarre outbursts and subsequent descent into madness. As their home devolves into a house of horrors, they reluctantly turn to a local Catholic priest for help. Yeah. So that's what this is. I've been seeing people talk about it. It's got a Stephen King quote on the front, which strangely, I don't like Stephen King books really. The only Stephen King book I have actually enjoyed is Carrie. So despite that, usually if there's a Stephen King quote on a book, it usually ends up being a win for me. So I think this might be a win. Unsettling Truths, the ongoing dehumanization or dehumanizing legacy of the doctrine of discovery. This is kind of about colonialization and stuff like that. Is a nonfiction book. It's been on my TBR for a little bit, and I talked about how I haven't been wanting to read nonfiction, but really it's like I don't want to read the nonfiction I have on my shelves, and that sounded intriguing to me, so got that. My Dark Vanessa, exploring psychological dynamics of a relationship between a precocious yet naive teenager and her magnetic, manipulative teacher. A brilliant, all-consuming read that marks the explosive debut of an extraordinary new writer. Also has a Stephen King quote. Again, something weird. Not weird, distressing? I don't know how to describe that. Like, I've talked about how I read Flowers in the Attic as a preteen, and I kind of live for the messy drama. So My Dark Vanessa, I believe it's kind of connected to like Lolita in some, no, I don't know. I talked about this earlier in my wrap up, maybe the last Quinista. I should have looked up how to pronounce this. A friend had recommended it to me. It's also like juvenile fiction, so I'm expecting this to be a pretty easy read. It starts in Spanish. I'm not going to attempt that. A girl named Petra Pena, who wanted nothing more than to be a storyteller like her abuelita. But Petra's world is ending, Earth has been destroyed by a comet, and only a few hundred scientists and their children, among them Petra and her family, have been chosen to journey to a new planet. They are the ones who must carry on the human race. So yeah, I've been in a space mood, to be quite honest. So I also picked up To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which is ginormous. I saw this at a used bookstore when we went on our road trip across the state a couple weekends ago, I almost bought this because it was at the used bookstore, and the like cover, like the spine, you can't see it because of the reflection. I don't know, it just really caught my eye. I ended up not buying it just because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not, but then it was like displayed in the fiction section of my library today, so I was like, oh, that seems like a sign to go ahead and pick it up. Kira Navarez dreamed of life on new worlds, and now she's awakened a nightmare. During a routine survey mission on an uncolonized planet, Kira finds an alien relic. At first she's delighted, but elation turns to terror when the ancient dust around her begins to move. A war erupts among the stars. Kira is launched into a galaxy-spanning odyssey of discovery and transformation. First contact isn't all... It's gonna rain. First contact isn't all what she imagined, and events push her to the very limits of what it means to be human. I haven't heard anything about this. I just picked this up on a whim. But again, kind of fits that space vibe. And then the last thing I picked up was The Devil of Nanking, which I also talked about in the wrap-up. It is connected to the massacre of Nanking, but it's a novel. I don't know how much I want to read this, but I picked this up on the recommendation of, I should have looked up his name. I'll put the card here of the video that 10 more disturbing books I've read or whatever. Anyways, that's what this is about. Anyways, so that is my very large stack of books that I've picked up from the library. If I can read all of these this month, I will be very happy. If there's some DNFs in there, I won't be upset either. But if I can get these read in some capacity, even like there's 6 of them, if I can get 3 of them read this month, I think I'll be pretty pleased with that, just because July tends to be a slow month for me. This might be the last check-in. If it is, I'll check in again tomorrow with final stats, but there won't be very many because I've only read 1 book. But yeah. Well, in a fun twist, immediately after recording that clip, I commented how a storm was coming, rain was coming, and boy, did it come, because we got a massive thunderstorm, and we lost power. We have been without power for 3 hours, and the rain will not stop. So it has not been a great day for me. Yeah. So I just stared out into nothingness. I really got like no reading done today because now I can't read the ebooks, the whatever the true crime one is. I can't read that, and I can't read any of my physical books because it's actually getting quite dark. This is like the brightest spot in the house. That was lightning. Yeah, things suck. Yeah. I'm gonna close the vlog here, I think. So I read 1 book, and it was a middling book. So hello, it is July 7th, and this is the last check-in. I did some other check-ins that I kept saying were going to be the last, but I managed to finish the prime read that I was doing, All the Lies They Did Not Tell, which was the Satanic Panic in Italy book. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it. It was a really short read. It was under 300 pages, so like it wasn't difficult. It just really didn't offer a whole lot of new information to me. As someone that like already kind of knows about the Satanic Panic. So that is what it is. I did a longer summary about it in the video I posted last week, which is I don't know what I'm gonna call it. Something about Prime Reads. I'll have like a full review video posted before this vlog. So you can watch that if you're interested in hearing more about it, but otherwise it's just a fine book. However, I got another haul of books. We bought some Harvard bookstore sale books, and I was not expecting them, and they arrived so quickly, so I got some books to show you. I got Magma. 20-year-old Lilia is in love. As a university student, she was smitten with the intelligent, beautiful classmate who quotes Deirdre Latin, reads Latin, and cooks balanced vegetarian meals. Quickly, she's moved in with him, living in his cramped apartment surrounded by sour towels and flat Diet Cokes. As the newfound intimacy of sharing a shower and a bed fuels her desire to please her partner, his quiet and pervasive manipulations start to unravel her. Sheds light on undercurrents of violence that so often go undetected in romantic relationships. Yeah, so that's what this book is about. I mostly kind of picked it up because I thought the cover was really pretty, although this looks pretty dirty, so I might need to clean that. I haven't heard of this before. I don't actually know if it's picking up. The lighting is... Anyways, I don't know. I was just scrolling through it. I thought this seemed interesting. This is Bad Island, which is like a graphic novel, wordless graphic novel about the end of the world by cult artist and longtime Radiohead collaborator. Love a graphic novel, love an apocalyptic end of the world story. So yeah, there's that. I got Without a Prayer, The Death of Lucas Leonard and How One Church Became a Cult. Have not heard of this case, but I'm interested in cults and it seemed interesting. So there's that. Maybe I should read the whole summary. Teenager Lucas Leonard made shocking admissions in front of the altar. He practiced witchcraft and conspired to murder his parents, among other horrific crimes. The confessions earned him a brutal beating by a gang of angry church members, including his parents and sister. Lucas arrived at the hospital dead, awakening the sleepy community of Chadwick's, New York, to the horror that has been lurking next door. 9 members of Lucas's church would eventually find themselves facing murder-related charges. So yeah, that sounds intriguing. Maybe a little bit of satanic panic in the 2000s, maybe, when it was, I guess it doesn't have a year. I don't know, maybe a little satanic panic element in there. And then this is the big read, the important read, the whatever. This has been on my TBR for a very long time. Savage Appetites, 4 true stories of women, crime, and obsession. This sounds like it's just gonna be like, trashy true crime, but I'm hoping this is going to have a critical lens on true crime. Rachel Monroe links 4 archetypes, detective, victim, defender, and killer, to 4 true stories about women driven by obsession, from a frustrated heiress crafting crime scene dollhouses to a young woman who became part of a Manson victim's family, from a landscape architect in love with a convicted murderer to a Columbine fangirl who planned her own mass shootings. These women are alternately mesmerizing, horrifying, and sympathetic, situated within a study of women's complicated relationships with true crime and the fear and desire it can inspire. Together, these stories provide a window into why many women are drawn to crime narratives even as they recoil from them. By way of these 4 cases, Monroe traces the history of American crime through the growth of forensic science, the evolving role of victims, the satanic panic, the rise of online detectives, and the long shadow of the Columbine shooting. A combination of personal narrative, reportage, and sociological examination of violence in media in the 20th and 21st centuries. Savage Appetite is a journey into obsession, scrupulously exploring empathy, justice, and the persistent appeal of crime. So I'm intrigued. I'm hoping this will be a critical lens at looking into true crime. I feel like I don't see a lot of that. And I've talked about how I'm working on kind of pulling myself out of certain true crime spheres. I'm not perfect. I'm still consuming some, obviously. Like, I think this could be classified as true crime, and it's not necessarily like looking at it through a critical lens necessarily. It's just like telling a story of a crime, as far as I know. But I am intrigued at looking at more critical perspectives of true crime. So I'm hoping that's what this offers me. You know, I am personally more interested in looking at true crime through like a propaganda perspective, and I don't think that's what this book is going to offer me. But it seems like it could be interesting. I'm hoping that it really lends itself to that critical narrative that I'm hoping for. And I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way. I don't mean critical in a negative way. I mean critical as in like, let's look at this and really pick it apart to understand the good and bad. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of that book. It's been on my TBR for ages, so I'm really thrilled to have a copy of it and get to read it at some point. I have a lot of books now. Obviously the library books take precedent, but I'm excited to have these guys too. And this will probably get read pretty soon because it is a wordless graphic novel. There ain't much to take a while reading that. Anyways, so talked about a lot of books in this. This actually ended up being a little more useful of a vlog than I had anticipated. I only read 2 books this month. Oh my goodness, will I ever get it right? I've only read 2 books this week, but that's one more than I thought I was gonna get read this week. So yes, obviously I have power. We did get power back like at 8 o'clock last night, which was good because my phone with battery was dying, and I was like scrounging around in the dark basement trying to find the candles. And as I was doing that, the lights came back on and I was thrilled. Anyways, so that's been the week. That's been week 1 of July. I will see you next week. Bye.